Ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, I propose that we turn our critical gaze towards a most intriguing social construct, the seemingly benign, yet darkly revealing 5-second rule. Oh yes, that astonishingly pervasive superstition that a morsel of food once so disgracefully cast onto the floor is imbued with an ephemeral grace period during which it remains uncorrupted. Allow it to linger a mere instant longer, and its innocence is forever lost. Such is the magic of the 5 seconds, or should we say the 5,000 milliseconds, that act as a barrier between civilization and barbarity. The very nature of this construct exposes a profound and somewhat troubling flaw in our collective understanding of both cleanliness and the passage of time itself. It's not the grand theory of relativity we're discussing here, but the relative relativity of our ignorance. 5 seconds, or 5,000 milliseconds if you prefer, is an arbitrary temporal oasis that presumably offers immunity from germs and microbes. How charmingly naive, how delightfully optimistic. If I were a germ, I would most likely be laughing in my infinitesimally small sleeves. Allow me to digress for a moment and recall the unvarnished honesty of one George Orwell. Not only in his piercing literary works, but also in his accounts of his own life and times, such as the grimly poetic descriptions of London's destitution in Down and Out in Paris and London. Orwell had no illusions about cleanliness or the lack thereof. He knew that dirt and filth did not bow to the whims of a clock or human-made rules. The gritty reality of existence was always present for him, and he did not require a 5-second grace period to discern the truth. But why does this temporal aberration capture our imagination? Perhaps it reveals something deeper about our struggle with the inexorable march of time itself. Are these 5 seconds not a microcosm of our attempt to freeze time, to wrestle with our lack of control, to assert mastery over nature's randomness? Or is it simply a reflection of our slovenly ways, our willingness to embrace the grotesque, to waltz with bacteria for the sake of a succulent morsel? Either way, I propose that this 5-second rule, or this 5,000 millisecond indulgence, represents not just a childish game but a critical insight into the human condition. It offers a window into our desperate struggle with the material world, our misunderstanding of the very nature of existence, and our obstinate refusal to face reality in all its unsanitized glory. If you ever find yourself tempted to invoke this rule, remember, it's not the time on the clock that matters, but the clock in your mind. In our haste to bend time and nature to our will, we might only succeed in exposing our all-too-human folly,